So, I've been getting asked a lot about who my dad is, so I thought it was perfect time to do a little video, me just talking about him. I've got a couple of memories here, really special pair of trainers, a family picture, and then a little souvenir that he gave to me on the last trip that we did down to London. So, yeah, I thought it was about time. Obviously, me and him have I've just popped up out of nowhere and just appeared with all these trainers. So loads of people have asked like, oh, what's he look like? What did he do? How long did he collect for? Why did he do this? Or why didn't he do this? And whatever else. So I just thought I'd just give it a bit of a summary, a little bit about me, most of it about him. And just gives you all an idea and a bit of context behind the page, because right now you have a rough idea of what's happened and who he is, but no real idea. So I just thought it'd make sense and just give people an idea about us as well. So firstly, this is him on the left, that's my sister in the middle, this is me at the bottom in the middle, and then this is my mum on the furthest on your right. Is that right? Yeah. So yeah, he's here. I like that picture. It's from about 25 years ago or so. Had a bit of a knitted jumper on there, that bad boy. And then this, so I'll just do a quick one on this. I took him to London about 2 weeks before he passed away. Just wanted to do something. He couldn't fly. We knew he was going to pass away in a short period of time, so I took him to London, just me and him. Went down on the train. Him and my mum normally stop in this hotel, kind of cheap and cheerful hotel, but I thought stuff it, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, something I'd never do again. So I told him we were going to this budget hotel, and I booked for us to stay in Claridge's in one of the big suites, which was like crazy. Something I'd never do again because I could never afford it. But as for a once in a lifetime thing, yeah, it was amazing. And whatever that would have been, or however I would have got the money, I would have done it anyway, just because of how special that experience was. So this is a napkin from Claridge's bar. He wrote on it, "To Raz," that's what he called me, that's my nickname. "Unreal, thank you, NJJC," which is what I have got tattooed on my knuckles. That's the bottom ring is his wedding ring, so you can't really see, but it says NJJC. Is that right, Will? Is that the right way around? Yeah. So, funnily enough, I had these done by my friend Sam, who does all my tats, and my dad was sat on there. It was about 1.5 years ago, no, longer, 2.5 years ago. He passed away last April. So, what's that, 14 months ago, something like that? Yeah. So, say 2 years ago I did this, and I was sat here, just with it like that, and he was like, "What's up?" So I was like laughing at him, and then he noticed it, so I showed him, and he burst out crying, bless him. And nobody's picked up on that yet, and yeah, I did that. I didn't do that for the page. I'm not that kind of guy. I did that well before I thought of the page. The page was never an idea. When he was here, he would have never have done that. He was very quiet. He kept himself to himself. He didn't tell anybody other than his friends that he did this. He had no socials. He had no online presence. It didn't bother him. So, yeah, I think he'd be happy with me doing this, but he'd be worried, like, oh God, all these people will find out about it. And, I used to just worry about all these things, people thinking he was a weirdo and whatever else. So, yeah, I had these done well before the page. I had them done for him so he could see that. And he's with me forever then. He's on my hands. I'm a barber, so I own a barber shop. That's what these are, EBS, Edwards Barbershop. The scissors out there, battered. I had them done when I was in Turkey, when I was like 20 at 4 in the morning, out my face. So that's them cooked. But yeah, everyone sees my hands all day. I see my hands in the mirror all day, and I wanted him to be with me forever, so I put them on there. So that's because of those. He would have put Dad or whatever else, but he wanted to put NJJC. So yeah, that's a special little thing. So a little bit about him. He worked in the steel industry all his life. Before that, I'll tell you about his diagnosis actually. So he got diagnosed with T-cell lymphoma cancer, which is an aggressive form of blood cancer. He was meant to last about 9 months, but he lasted about 18, which was amazing. We had a lot of good times in that time. He had 3 rounds of treatment. First one was okay, second one was good, third one was really bad. He didn't really bounce back from any of them, and it just kept spreading. He was super positive. I learned so much from him. It's a really odd situation, and it very much has a silver lining, and people think I'm weird with that, and people will probably disagree with me. Everybody deals with this different, but for me, it's taught me so much about carrying on with life, appreciation to time, dealing with those situations, how he dealt with it as such. And he was, I don't want to say like, oh, a warrior and stuff, because I'm not glamorising being too strong. He was emotional, but he was exceptionally strong. He never gave up. 3 rounds of treatment, lost his hair 3 times and grew it back. Bearing in mind, before I shaved his hair off for him, but his hair was like well past his shoulders. His hair was well past his shoulders, so I shaved it off for him. That came back a few times. Yeah, he lasted 18 months and had an alright 18 months. We had a couple of ups and downs, and we learnt a lot from it as a family as such, but that's what he ended up dying of. Mum's raised a lot of money for charity. Me and my sister have raised a little bit of money for charity, for the charity that looked after him, which is the Anthony Nolan charity. And they were great with him and stuff. So yeah, he started off in the steel industry when he was like 17, 18, fresh from school, and he pretty much worked in that industry his whole life, from welding and fabricating to metal testing to import and export of metals. He worked his way up and worked for one company for a long time and really enjoyed it. That was his thing. My granddad was an engineer, his granddad was an engineer, so it was very much in the family. We're from the Steel City, so a lot of blokes, not all, but a lot of blokes, kind of my dad's era and my granddad's era, would have worked in the steel industry. And yeah, my dad really enjoyed that and got into all the periodic side of it and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what he did his whole life. Nothing to do with fashion. My mum's always had a job in fashion, from doing, say, window displays and visuals to personal shopping and whatever else. So dad's hobby just was clothes. That's what mum did for a job, but dad's job was just working with steel. So very opposite to what people think. A lot of people have asked me and said, oh, did he work in this industry or did he work in that industry? But no, he worked in steel. He started collecting, yeah, when he was about 18. No, probably let's say when he was about 20. Up until current day, he passed away at 53. So 30-ish, 33 years worth of collecting, which is a sterling effort. Loads of variation. He had firm favourites, which were Air Max 97s, Adidas Superstars, and the Adidas Micro Pacer. 97s, we probably had about 130 pairs before we sold some off. So about 10 years ago, we sold off about 100 pairs of 97s, something like that, maybe a little bit less. We're up to about 60 still. Micro Pacers, we've got about 60, and then Superstars, we're over 100 plus. So between those, we've got over 200 in just 3 different silhouettes. So yeah, they were his favourites, but he wasn't loyal to any brand. He liked anything. If it was a shoe, he liked shoes. He's got loads of brogues, loads of loafers. There was no limitation. There was no loyalty to anybody, really. If it was a nice looking shoe in a nice colourway, he'd buy it. And as you've probably seen that with the social videos and what me and Will have been putting up, there is a hell of a lot of variation, and then numbers within that variation as well. So I may as well talk about this pair. These are the knit cars. You should be able to see that and get that well, yeah. So these were made for him by his best friend Simon Dixon, who is a close family friend of ours. These were made for him by his best friend Simon Dixon, who is a close family friend of ours and was my dad's best friend. So these are a pair of Nike IDs. The Nike ID program started in end of 2005, start of 2006. And we didn't have internet till 2008, 2009. So Simon had internet well early on, early 2000s probably. So he had to play about on ID because Simon likes 97s as well. So he had to play about on ID but wasn't fussed by anything. But my dad, this colourway is black, infrared and metallic silver. So my dad really loved the Air Max 90 infrared, same as me. It's one of my favourite shoes as well. So you couldn't buy a 97 in the infrared colourway back then. And Simon decided to put that colourway on here, just playing about with it, and realised how nice it looked and bought them for my dad. And turned up, he was going out to the pub one day and he just turned up. My dad was washing the car and he just got out and passed him these, and he went crazy because he didn't realise that you could put a name on the tongue logo. You could only put 4 letters on them, which was perfect. His full name is Nicholas James Jason Carr, but you could get Nick Carr on there. So he was buzzing about that, and with it being in the infrared colourway as well. And nobody had seen IDs then. My dad was the first I knew to have a pair of IDs, which was wild. The fact of that you could do that back then and personalise your own shoe. Customs were huge then, so this was Nike's answer to clapping back at customisers, basically. And I don't mean customs like they are now, where you can customise a whole shoe. It'd be like someone took the shoe and painted it, or put glitter on it, or just changed the panel. But Nike knew that, so Nike wanted to do something about it, so out came ID. I think it was late 2005 in America, and it came here in like mid 2006. Yeah, it says it on the inner sole here actually. 1997, created 2006. 1997, created in 2006 and customised on NikeID.com, which is so cool. So for that period of time, I think they did this style of ID till about 08, 09, something like that, which were the best IDs. They had the best options, the most amount of colourways, and you could do the most in these early years. And then they started limited them because, I don't know, people making way better colourways than what they could make themselves. So I don't think they liked it in the end. And people would copy that good colourway, or then what they'd do is they'd bring that colourway out. And they've lasted really well. As you can see, they're super clear. He's worn them quite a bit, probably 10, 20 times. I know that doesn't seem a lot to a lot of people, but for him that was quite a lot, and that's been a saving grace because, well, if you look at them, they still look relatively wearable and they're crystal clear on both as well. The ID was always made that little bit better because it was more handmade as such, because every shoe was different. Like the writing on the inner sole is written on there by hand, it's not just stamped on there by a machine. So a lot of the Nike IDs were kind of half made by hand, made in Vietnam as well, so back when Nike was getting made in the proper factories. But yeah, super special pair. These were on top of his coffin as well. So he had like a cardboard coffin, so me and my wife painted it all blue and made it into a coffin Adidas box, put the stripes on it, put the sizing sticker on it with his name and his size and whatever else. I'll show you some pictures of that one day. But on top of that coffin were these Air Max 97 IDs, Nick Carr's, and then the Diamond Superstars as well, the 60 years of soles and stripes.